if I am just to compare all those who've publicly declared interest for the highest office of the land, one Fred Matiang'i seems the best preferred candidate to unseat President William Samoei Ruto. And I'm saying this because he oozes the aura and authority that a president requires. But question remains, shall Kenyans turn a blind eye against all the illegalities that happened under his watch just to vote for him against his Kisii tribe or against President William Samoei Ruto? Shall Kenyans turn a blind eye and vote for him as the best preferred candidate when he is openly fronted by the same men who ruined this country's economy? Shall Kenyans vote for him knowing pretty well he was part and parcel of the problem in the last regime, and now the perpetrators of the same problems Kenyans are currently facing are blatantly fronting him as the solution just for them to rule through proxy? Shall Kenyans accept all this? And if you ask me, personally, when I just have a look at one Fred Matiang'i, all I see is a man possessing the same character as President William Samoei Ruto, but currently with no power. He is the best preferred, yes, I can't deny that, but how will we vote for him when the case of murder of the Kionjokoma brothers is still fresh in our minds? Will Kenyans for the second time vote in favor of Fred Matiang'i, who now wants to sell himself as a saint, forgetting how worst saints are, like the one we currently having, to whom had to lull Kenyans with non-value added idioms like nikiweka Biblia chini, and today Kenyans are still perambulating with promises. Will Kenyans trust one Fred Matiang'i for the highest office of the land when Baby Pendo's case is still fresh in our minds? Will Kenyans vote for Fred Matiang'i when he defied over 34 court orders to allow the self-proclaimed general Dr. Miguna back into the country? My fellow Kenyan, the choice strictly lies under your jurisdiction. However, with all due honesty and respect, one thing I cannot deny is that one Fred Matiang'i possesses the dictatorial tendencies exactly like those of President Donald Trump. And that is why, before even he begins campaigning, the entire country has very huge expectations from him. He may be strict, yes, but will his strictness be good for this country? Of course, if you ask me, his strictness may shape our country. He possesses the dictatorial tendency of which that is a fact. But will his dictatorial tendency be good for the sake of this country? And for me, I beg to say no. But for you, you can as well feel free to drop your comment on that in the comment section. However, in as much as Fred Matiang'i stands out not to be a saint, but we just have to admit that the demons he possesses are good enough for the sake of our motherland country, Kenya, because the devils of corruptions are likely to be fought by the character that one Fred Matiang'i possesses. However, I strongly believe in the 2027 general election, Kenyans need not to elect a saint. And this, I'm saying this with all due honesty and respect, with what Kenyans have times above numbers been doing in the last general election. Because even in the 2013 general elections, Kenyans had to elect the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and his then deputy William Samoei Ruto, despite the cognizant fact and despite Kenyans knowing pretty well that they were facing cases at the ICC against humanity. So that gives credence that Kenyans do not need to elect a saint simply because this is a mistake that they have been repetitively been doing. And with Matiang'i's case, I kid you not, it is not an exception. Shall Kenyans forget all about the Ruaraka land scandal and decide to tick Matiang'i's name at the ballot in the next general election? In fact, I, having studied the crinkum and the voting pattern of millions of Kenyans, is that for you to be elected in any public office, then I kid you not, you must have a dent in your reputation. You must have, or you must be, a charlatan. And in this context, a charlatan with all due respect, because since time immemorial, Kenyans have had a tendency of electing people with questionable integrity. So in this case, Matiang'i's case remains not an exception. But from where I sit, I strongly believe the latitude for you to elect or shape your future for the next 5 years right after the 2027 general election strictly lies under your jurisdiction. So the choice is yours. If you vote in bad policies, then you expect bad governance not only to yourself but to your generation for the next 5 to 10 years. And as I come to the penultimate part of this episode, that has just been my opinion. If by any chance you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well just feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. And by any chance, if you have been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, you can as well just consider hitting on the subscribe button. Thank you and may God bless you.